Friends, welcome back for another video. Today I am excited to share with you guys my Q3 homeschooling update, where I am just going to go over and chat with you guys how our Q3 went in our homeschool this year and share just really anything that I feel like stands out or is worthwhile to mention here in this video. It's just kind of going to be a recap on Q3 of our homeschool. So I would love to know how your homeschooling year is going. Let me know down in the comments below what quarter you're in, how your Q3 went, if you're already done with it like us. I cannot believe we are moving into Q4, and I will say that every single time I get on here and do a Q3 update because it just is so crazy. I can't believe we're already almost done with this school year. So let's jump into this Q3 update. Okay, so if you've been watching my homeschooling updates for a while, then you know that Q3 is usually when I come on and my battery's gonna die. Hey, back in action. So, as I was saying before my battery rudely died on me, if you have been around my channel for a while, you know that Q3 is usually a really challenging quarter for me, and pretty much every other homeschooler that I know that tells me Q3 is tough. It's right after the holidays usually. It's kind of in the dreary time of the year with cloudy gray skies. I almost said crowdy. Cloudy gray skies. You're not outside a lot. It's just kind of like the new and exciting materials are old news by now. And so what did I do this year to hopefully help myself survive the Q3 blues? I planned a vacation right in the smack dab middle of it. No, really, I did. And I did it on purpose. Not only is like after the holidays a slower time of travel for the year, but it also was in the middle of our Q3. And so because of that, the Q3 this school year, to get from week 18 to week 27, it took us the longest amount of time I think it ever has. So I just want to share this with you guys for no other reason than to just share with you guys what my Q3 looked like. So week 18 was the first week of January in my homeschool, January 6th. That was the beginning of week 18. And week 27 just finished up this week, well, when I'm filming this, March 16th. So January 6th to March 16th was our Q3. And as many of you guys know, if you follow along on my channel or over on Instagram, we did go on a Disney cruise, and so we traveled for 2 weeks. And I counted one of those weeks, not both. I probably should have just counted both, but I counted one of those as a school week. We were learning so much on our travels, different cultures, different experiences, life skills, and all of that is so valuable. So I did count some of the travel as school days, and I know someone's gonna ask me, do you have to report in your state? No, I do not, but I just keep track of it for my own personal enjoyment, I guess. But I do want to mention, if you guys ever find yourself traveling to New Orleans, the World War II Museum was fabulous there, as was the Insectorium. I would highly recommend both of those things as amazingly educational places where you could easily spend a day or two, and they were really incredible. There was so much to learn there. So that was kind of like the highlight of Q3 was our big trip, and we were very thankful to have been able to get in our travels before all of the coronavirus and travel restrictions shut down. When we were traveling, it was at the very beginning of February, and so that was when things were kind of coming into light about all of that, and there were a little bit of different restrictions. For example, at at that time you couldn't board the cruise ship if you had been to China in the last 30 days, but there were no cases that were being reported in the United States yet. So I was really grateful for the timing of all of that, because had it just been 1 month later, our trip that we had been waiting almost 2 years to go on would have been canceled for good reason, of course, but it still would have been disappointing. And so I was really grateful that we got to do that as a part of our Q3 in our homeschool this year. Some other fun things that we did in Q3 was we went and saw the Dr. Dolittle movie and compared it to the book. We tried to watch the one with Eddie Murphy that was around when I was a kid. It doesn't correlate with the book at all, and it also is kind of not the best content, so we didn't finish watching that. But this one did more closely mirror the original book of Dr. Dolittle, which my family loved. It wasn't exact, but it was closer. So, and I felt the content was okay. So the kids really love doing that. My kids, you know, my kids love watching movies. They just do. Like, we're a movie watching family. We love watching a movie together, having that family time. We love when we read a book and then a movie comes out about it. Like, it's just, I always try to do that in our homeschool because my kids just love it. So that was really fun. Another fun thing that we did in the Q3 was we went to a new bookstore, new to us, bookstore in our area. And I have to share this with you guys because it encouraged my heart so much. So you guys know that I've been homeschooling for a really long time now, and reading to my children has always been a great priority to me. And it doesn't matter if I've used Sunlight, which is like a literature-based homeschooling curriculum, so there's tons of books, tons of reading, or I'm using The Good and the Beautiful, that it's a little bit less reading. It doesn't matter. I am always reading to my kids. And so when we went into this bookstore, it's more of a mom and pop type bookstore, so the quantity of books is less than say like Barnes and Noble. So when we walked in, my kids went over to the shelf because, you know, I told them they could each get a couple new books, and they were all going through, we've read this one. Mom, remember when we read that one? Mom, remember this one? This was my favorite when I was Olivia's age. And like, they just went on and on about how many books we had read that were there. And that was like such a pat on the back from the Lord with this whole homeschooling journey, because I don't even remember that we read all those books until my kids are telling me like, Mom, we read this, and then I do remember. And they remember the stories, they remember the books, and it was just wonderful to see, because I always wonder, you know, are my kids gonna remember all of the stuff that we've done and all of the little bits and pieces of effort that I put into things? Like, are they gonna remember that their mom did this? And I feel like in that moment it was God saying, yeah, they're remembering. And so that was just really encouraging. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because maybe you feel like you wonder if your kids are ever going to remember anything that you do. I just want to encourage you that they will. So we also finished up our science unit, the Good and the Beautiful weather unit, in Q3. And I always like to be honest and transparent with you guys, regardless of working with them. I know that they would want me to always be honest, which I am. But I feel like this was the first time that I didn't love the science unit. I did not love the weather unit. I feel like it was definitely more geared toward younger children, and I really struggled to try to beef it up. And even doing the lesson extensions with my older kids, my kids enjoyed it, but it for me, there was a little bit of a disconnect there. I think the weather unit is definitely better used for younger grade levels. I'd probably say like under 3rd grade, maybe 4th grade. And I tried and we finished it, and I did feel there was good information, obviously, but it just, out of all of the science units I've done, it was not my favorite. I love all of the other science units. So this one, I was a little like, I don't know. So I'm very excited to move into botany for our last science unit for this school year. For quarter 4, we will do botany. It's the perfect time in our area for planting things and learning all about that. We actually went to the nursery yesterday and got a few new plants. And so we're gonna learn a lot with that, and I'm excited because I know I'm going to learn a lot too. In quarter 3, I also, sorry if you see me looking to the side, I have notes over here so I remember what I'm talking about. In quarter 3, I finally started the maturation unit from The Good and the Beautiful. I am doing it with my older 2 kids, not my younger 2, and we are doing it family style with my husband, meaning we're talking about all of the girl information in front of my son and all of the boy information in front of my daughter, and my husband and I are both there and present to inform them of all of these things. We're about halfway through it. We still have a little bit more to go, and there are some pieces of it that I am going to be leaving out, but those are just personal choices and kind of based on where my kids are at. I don't feel like it's appropriate right now to go into that, but we're covering all the parts, how they all work, the birds and the bees and all that. But there's just like little other pieces of it that I'm gonna wait until I start to see like we're crossing into that area. So it's been going good so far. I'm not gonna lie and tell you that it hasn't been a little like where I'm holding back a laugh or they bust out laughing or my son is like hiding his face saying he doesn't want to grow up, or last week I had a good laugh and I shared this on Instagram too because it was so funny to me. He said this book, and he's so serious. If you guys knew him in real life, he's so black and white, very literal, and just hilarious. And he says things that just are so funny. And he looked at me and he goes, "Mom, you know what this book should be called? The Book of Unwanted Information." And I started to laugh so hard because isn't that just such an accurate picture of like how we all feel when we discover these things? Like, this is unwanted information. Now for me, this is new territory because nobody sat me down. I was educated on the streets, which I know sounds so ridiculous, but truly I learned from other people. I learned from friends. I learned from movies. I learned from things I shouldn't be seeing, and maybe I learned from my health class in 5th grade. But for the most part, I just learned this stuff on my own. So this is a new approach, and I have to say I really love it so far. I love how they've worded it. I love the scientific presentation of all of it, and I highly recommend the unit. Even though I'm only halfway done, I really like it. So we're gonna continue that into quarter 4. What else do I have to tell you guys? We've continued on with our tea time. That has been really, really fun this homeschool year. I did a once a month tea time for my friends, and this one in March, when I'm filming this, we are getting ready to do a special tea time for my daughter who is turning 13. She doesn't know it yet, it's a surprise, but all of her friends, including her mommy, have written her a poem, and I've never written poetry before. And I did it in chunks. Sorry for the lighting changes. It's the clouds moving behind my window here. But I wrote this poem in chunks because it was going to be very emotional for me because I'm very, very, very sad. At the same time, very grateful that she is turning 13. But anyways, I wrote it over the course of a couple of weeks because it was very intense emotionally for me. And last night I showed my husband and he cried, you guys. My poem made my husband cry. So now I feel like I have a new talent. I'm a gifted writer and I evoke emotion from people who read my poetry. So that was I'm really excited about that. That's actually coming up this week, so technically it will be in quarter 4, but it's been planned, so we're gonna go ahead and throw that in this quarter 3 update. Another thing that I wanted to mention, I showed this in a day in the life video, is that my oldest daughter, she has been working on teaching textbooks pre-algebra this year for 7th grade. Because last year in 6th grade, it wasn't clicking for her. So we paused where she was and we resumed, we resumed it this year. So of course she had already completed some of it in 6th grade, and so she naturally finished that a little bit early. So what I did was I ordered some paces. I've learned that they're called that. And I know that people feel like, oh, that's just workbook or whatever, but I'm telling you, it's been really good for her to go back and review things. And it's also been very, very good for me to see where she is kind of hung up. Math is not her favorite and it doesn't come the easiest to her. And so going through these paces, I'm able to identify, like, because it's so obvious. One of the paces will have like all the same kind of problem, she'll get 100%. The next page will have all the same problem, different, maybe all with fractions, and she'll really struggle. So then it's like, okay, we're struggling with fractions, and not like fractions, but like solving equations with fractions. So that's been really helpful because we've been able to kind of rework and review and learn more. So that way next year when she goes on to Algebra 1, those challenges she's hopefully kind of mastered. So that has also taken place in quarter 3. So that is pretty much my little update. This is the first year I can honestly tell you guys that I struggled a little bit when we got back from our trip. But I don't think that that was homeschooling related. I think that was just like traveling was tiring. I ended up getting sick, and so I think my body was a little bit run down. And I also think I just was sad that our vacation was over. So I don't feel like I had like the 3rd quarter homeschooling blues this year, which is good. I just feel like after a trip, I'm going to, like a long trip, I'm going to always buffer myself with more time. I wanted to come back, and like we had been gone for so long that I just was like, let's hit it. Let's get back into school. I wanted to, but I don't know, even though my brain wanted to do that, I don't think that that was the best thing for me personally. So making a mental note of that for the future. But I really do feel like this has been my best quarter 3 so far. I'm excited to kind of finish the year with a bang. I anticipate that we will be done with our homeschooling year. Probably around the 2nd or 3rd week of June, and then I will take my longest break of the year from June till the middle of June to about the beginning of August. So around 6 weeks. I always like to take a longer break during the summer months for camping trips, obviously, and also because I need to order all of my new materials and clean out my room and set everything up. And I also just like to have a little bit of a break. So that's my plan. We will start back with our new school year in August. We'll finish in mid-June. So it's kind of like just a longer break. For the summertime, and then continue on with our year-round homeschooling schedule. I know people are gonna say, are you gonna do curriculum videos? Yes, I'm going to do curriculum videos, even if for no other reason than it's a tradition here on my channel, and I just feel like I have to do it. Unboxings, curriculum, all that stuff. You'll start seeing that hit my channel in April a little bit, and then definitely in May. I like to get it done early so that way all of you moms who are looking for maybe some new ideas, or, you know, my daughter's gonna be in 8th grade, what are they gonna be using? Then, you know, it gives you time. So I like to get those done early. So look out for those in April and May. I will be back with my quarter 4 end of the year homeschooling wrap up next. So if you guys enjoy hearing these homeschooling updates, give me a thumbs up. I'm excited to share what I'm gonna be using in 8th grade for my oldest daughter, because I know I shared with you guys in my homeschooling high school video that I'm gonna be changing some things. So I am excited to share that I'm changing some things, excited to try out some new materials, excited to see how that all works. And you know, I'll be sharing all of the good, bad, and ugly with you guys here on my channel. So thank you so much for watching this update. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all in my next video really soon. Bye guys.